Hey guys, it's Theo, my RC wizard here. Yeah, this is going to be a video about what I've done to my, this is MCD RR5. They do kind of now sell like a brushless kind of conversion thing for this, but it's not very good. I had one and it's, yeah, not the best for these, so this is hence why I kind of, did this in the first place. It was a petrol, obviously, to start with. This is a petrol version. I did buy it with a petrol engine and I ran it. It's okay, but for me, petrol, I don't want to go to kind of, I know you can go to 80cc, 50cc, all these kind of really big, powerful kind of motors and engines, but very expensive for one. And around me, I can't have a really loud RC car. You need to drive them quite fast, and obviously it can be very loud. Some people can, have got big fields and stuff like that, but I can't. So I always tend to have my builds kind of, brushless cars, essentially, electric. And this one I converted. It has taken me a long time to kind of convert this one, which you'll see. I'll kind of, disassemble it, but I am going to be selling this one. I do tend to kind of, modify cars, the Kraton 8S, I've made and sold kind of products for that. I tend to kind of, modify things, and if I think I can turn that into a product, I tend to do that for the X-Max and stuff like that, and I will have kind of more products for the X-Max as well, kind of coming up. So yeah, this one is for sale. I haven't run this, I've run this like a couple of times, but there are brand new wheels. The body shell I didn't run, I sprayed this myself, so there's a lot of time invested in this. I'm not looking to kind of get back all of my time. That's not why I do this. I do it because I'm very passionate about doing it. But I'm not going to sell it cheap. Let's put it that way. It's not going to be overpriced, but you'll see it on eBay. It might have sold already, but obviously if this video is old, hopefully it will have sold. But yeah, there will be a link in the description, obviously, where this is on eBay. So yeah, what's kind of on the outside that's kind of changed? The body shell is not an original RR5 body. This is kind of, I can't remember what it's called, cab forward or something like that. Annoyingly, you can't get it with, the cutout is there from the factory. I did ask them and no, there's no cutouts. I'm like, well, yes there is. It came with this cutout kind of here. So I put this kind of aluminium mesh kind of here. And annoyingly, it has these other kind of holes here above. I'm not sure why, for the quad body clips, I did not put those. I sprayed it all myself. It was kind of a bit more of an experiment kind of spraying. It was kind of white, red, and then black here, and I kind of messed around. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not, a perfect kind of spray job, but it kind of looks the part. And I have gone for, the wheels have got offset. These are kind of Baja kind of rear wheels, so you need a slightly larger offset kind of on them, otherwise they kind of rub kind of here. So I have got wheel extensions kind of here, so it has got a bit of a wider stance on it. But I do prefer these types of wheels than just being stuck with a kind of MCD, being stuck with the MCD ones. And now I obviously wanted to go with the kind of colour coordination of the kind of white kind of hubs here, and obviously the red kind of rings then tying in with this, and obviously the black rubber goes to the black kind of here. I even coloured, even sprayed little screws as well. So I don't go to kind of nth degree, but I like the like details and things like that. So anything else? No, standard here, the chassis standard. The shocks are not standard for the RR5, these are for the RR5 Max. I think these are the back shocks, they're like two front shocks on the front and back, but they're very expensive shocks. You just go and look them up yourself, see how much these shocks are, so that will kind of, raise the price as well, because these are very expensive shocks and they are very nice. So under the shell, off, quite a few clips on there, and I have reinforced the other side of the body just with Gorilla Tape, just always kind of reinforces it. What's under here? A lot's gone on under here, so in a minute I've got another phone kind of running, so I will kind of zoom in and kind of show you kind of those parts. So we've got DBXL-E, like the battery trays from there. They're the kind of longer battery trays, so there's two of those. I cut off all the kind of, the back, there's a back box here anyway. If you do know MCDs, then there is a back box here. I kind of cut that bit off there. One of the big problems, lots of RC cars, the Creighton, obviously they have their kind of tower to tower brace, and there's obviously lots of problems with that as well. Lots of cars who take kind of heavy hits here, they've only got these kind of small braces here, so things can flex like quite a lot if you take quite a heavy hit. So I've got carbon custom, I've done the kind of all of the carbon fibre on this, I've done myself. Got carbon fibre brace going all the way to here, it stops there. There's a bit of nylon in between the two. It's also gone into the kind of main diff casing here as well. It's kind of screwed in underneath there. Another bit of nylon there, another bit of carbon fibre on the top, just to kind of tie the whole thing together. I wanted to keep these flat, I didn't want to kind of curve over the top. So carbon fibre attached in here, and obviously there, going kind of end to end, obviously. Yeah, so that obviously then stiffens up the whole thing, so you're not going to have any deflection kind of down if you are to kind of hit something or have a bad kind of landing. So these sometimes are prone for the front, these kind of chassis, the diff kind of casing and stuff, to kind of bend up a little bit if you take a hard hit, not because of this. And the same on the back, this isn't going to kind of flex down. I'm not saying if you fell off a cliff under a foot, it's probably not going to look very good after that, but you get the point. Yeah, so what's going on inside here? Yeah, so one of the main reasons I prefer this version of the E. This is kind of what they should have done, to be honest, but of course they don't want to invest that much money in it, so what do? With the original, if you have the E conversion kit, well, you've got to go for, it's got the motor mount that the petrol engine kind of connects to. Your motor kind of goes in there, and you're governed to having only a limited amount of gears. You can't use the normal gears that you can use with an 8mm shaft. It has to have like a square end on it, so you can only have, they only have a limited amount basically, and there's the movement is very limited as well. The battery trays are crap, they're very flimsy and they're just crap. Your ESC mounts to the top of the tray kind of over here, and I just sold it kind of straight away. I was like, this is, you know, garbage. So what have we got? I have I didn't go for carbon fibre here because I didn't really think it needed it. So this is the ESC mount, and I've got a fan kind of here. You can fit the, I'll try like a Max 5 obviously, and the ZTW. You can fit the ZTW one in here, and there's already pre-drilled holes because I do have a ZTW. So it's got pre-drilled holes for the ZTW, the 12S, you know, so you can, you know, easily run this kind of car on 12S. The battery trays I already told you about, they're obviously bolted through from the other side, and the same with this battery tray. Then what have we got? Really proud of the kind of, this is why it's taken so much time to kind of build. I don't do it full time, you know, this is I'm a furniture maker, this is the furniture making school that I'm kind of recording this in now, so I'm a teacher kind of there, so that's my full-time job at the moment. Prior to that I was a furniture maker for 20 years, so I've got a lot of experience making things. But this motor mount here, and I'll show you some images of this. This is a stainless steel welded motor mount. I send the drawings off to an engineering firm, and they welded up and laser cut out the stainless steel. The difference with kind of this one and the other version, this one, maybe I'll put a little note above to see what kind of gears you can fit between a 20, you know, all mod 1.5, you can fit like a 20 tooth gear up to like a 45 or a 40 tooth gear with this motor mount, because it's got, you can slide a motor like you should do in any standard car, you know, any brushless kind of car. So then it also has a motor support, yeah, so your motor kind of gets bolted in here, and you can adjust. These have got kind of screws in kind of lower down and all the rest of it, so depending on what size motor you have, it will sit onto this, and you could put some foam if you wanted to. So if you have a big landing, it doesn't bend this, it kind of is supported on that, clearly it's never going to bend. And obviously that was cut, we have a CNC router here at the school, so this was cut out on the CNC router, drawn on Fusion, and then cut out, you know, here. This part here, the same, I drew this on Fusion, and this has got holes kind of underneath it, clearly the fans wouldn't work otherwise. Yeah, so it's got holes underneath that, dual fans to keep the motor nice and cool. I made a gear cover, 3D printed, drew up again from Fusion and 3D printed this gear cover, because otherwise, depending on what gear you have behind this, I didn't want a gear kind of flailing around in here, and if any of your straps or wires came kind of loose, well, they would just get completely kind of minced up inside there. So this one is just screwed on from, screwed on from underneath. There's some nuts. There's a lid here, which is kind of cut, it comes apart kind of here. So those screws go into this part, that bit kind of comes off, and then you can access the kind of screws downstairs, at the bottom kind of here. So, a lot of thought has kind of gone into this. I also 3D printed the battery box. Yeah, the battery box here. So there's a pin that opens up, and this is for your electrics here, for your 2 fans. You'll have whatever battery you choose in here, and obviously you'll kind of close it up, and your switches are here. So you're not running it off another battery that's kind of strapped to this. It just keeps it kind of all neat, neat and tidy, and then that's the kind of on-off, on-off switch for your kind of fans. I will be selling this. It won't come with, I say electrics. It's not going to come with a motor, yeah, and it's not going to come with an ESC. I am going to sell it with the 2 servos here, the HiTEC, very good servos. I just had these kind of spare, and I've kind of synced it in already. They all work, they all work together. There's no kind of like binding or anything like that. There's no kind of clicky, because it's quite hard sometimes to tune 2 servos to work kind of perfectly independently. But obviously you've got the adjustment kind of here and adjustment kind of the other side. But clearly it makes it like super powerful. And there's no like receipt, there's no kind of radio gear that's going to come with this. The only electric parts you're going to get is this guy and this guy. And obviously you need to wire them up to your own receiver and make sure your receiver is kind of powerful enough to to handle both essentially. And you might need a separate kind of power system. Trying to think anything else. I don't think so. I think that's kind of it really. I haven't messed around with the I haven't messed around with the diffs. It all works, all works as it should. If I kind of turn it over, I've got kind of markings in the bottom. I had to drill obviously for the motor mount. You can see the stainless steel kind of bolts here. Yeah, you have to shift to make the motor mount work. This kind of bracket, the kind of chassis brace, the original chassis brace, quite hard to see kind of underneath there, but the original chassis brace, I had to unbolt and shift over. So it's still there, it just had to be moved over so the motor mount was kind of closer to it. But you can see this car's in excellent condition. All of the, if you don't know about kind of like MCD, if you don't know about MCDs and their brand and what they're kind of all about, I guess for me, Armour, they're excellent at PR. They're amazing at PR. Are their cars any good? They're okay. We all know about the problems with the Kraton and things like that. When you look at the craftsmanship of this versus the Kraton, this is at another level. It's excellent for the money that you pay for this type of machine. It's sometimes less. Okay, if it's petrol, it could be 700 and something pounds, but the Kraton looks like a toy kind of next to this guy. There's not kind of the joint kind of here where the drive shafts go in. It's got 3 ball bearings that kind of go in, so it's not just a hardened steel pin which has only got a few wearing kind of parts to it. And that obviously we know the brake and all the rest of it, it's got 3 balls in there, and the engineering that has to go into that. So the engineering on this is kind of, twice as good as the engineering on the Kraton. But the PR is fantastic and all the rest of it. And to be honest, it's the look of this, not with, with the body shells like the Kratons and all the rest of it, they do an excellent job of their artwork and all the rest of it. So people clearly want something to look good. MCD, when you do your own body shell, you can make it look good, but not everyone can do that. So the original body shell that comes with this is terrible. Most of them are terrible. So it's just a bit of a shame, but I think people are getting, more aware of the kind of MCD brand and understanding that how good they are and the engineering is kind of involved. But yeah, that's probably enough of my rant anyway. I'll probably put a list as well. Obviously, have a look on eBay, and if it is sold on eBay, I'll put a link in the description of kind of all the parts and kind of bits and pieces and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for checking out my video, and have a look at my other cars. I've got when I do have spare time, I do love kind of doing up RC cars and stuff like that. Most of the time, I do kind of run them for a few years, and then I do end up kind of selling them. So I think 6 or 7 like 5th scales at the moment, and I'm running out of space at home, and my partner is trying to get rid of them, I guess, and I need some money for other projects and stuff like that. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and like, subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of stuff, and upgrades and things like that we'll be doing in the future for other cars. But anyway, subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff, and see you next time.